we're not a short-term organization. We're here, and hopefully beyond me, generations beyond me will be here to ensure that we continuously carve and create pathways to a future that we want to build intentionally.
Hello, SpaceWatchers. I am Emma, Senior Editor of SpaceWatch.Global, and this is a new episode of Space Café Radio, your radio channel dedicated to emerging trends and live conferences in the space sector. Today's guest is Anousheh Ansari, the CEO of XPRIZE Foundation, which is the world's leader in designing and operating incentive competition to solve humanity's grand challenges. Anousheh is an Iranian-American engineer who self-describes herself as a tech entrepreneur, and she's definitely not new to the space sector. On September 18, 2006, just a few days after her 40th birthday, what a great way to celebrate, she embarked upon an 11-day space expedition and became the first female private space explorer, the first astronaut of Iranian descent, and the first Muslim woman in space. It's been an honor for me to have the chance to interview her and discuss with her about the meaning of her foundation, but also the deep innate sense of competition that we as humans all have, and the many difficulties women still have to face in the tech world. Enjoy it. I hope you will like it as much as I did. Anousheh, thanks a lot for being here with me. It's exciting to have the chance to talk with you about your view of the space industry at large and how it can interact with the society. First question, XPRIZE. What is its goal and how is it linked to the space industry?
Thank you. It's great to be here talking to you. I've been part of XPRIZE since its early days, and the inception of the competition goes back to space because the founder, Peter Diamandis, shared a passion with me, which is really creating a way for everyone to be able to access space and not just go there for fun, live there, work there, play there. And that's how we got our start. Our vision is to create a hopeful, abundant future for all, for everyone. And we believe that all the problems we're facing now and potential problems in the future can be solved when you democratize innovation and use technology in a way to drive solutions and intentionally build the future that you want to see. We've seen the impact of technology in the world today and how it has changed our lives. But I think the way technology moves today, it's a little bit a random walk. And sometimes we end up with great things. Sometimes we see consequences that we didn't anticipate or are not very happy about. So instead of just doing a random walk to the future, which we may not end up where we want to be, XPRIZE wants to create a vision of a hopeful, positive, abundant future for all, and then create pathways that would describe the breakthroughs, the technological changes, the policy changes, the societal changes that we want to see, and we need to make sure it happens. And then in some areas, XPRIZE can use our proven platform of large-scale competitions to drive and accelerate those breakthroughs, and then bring our ecosystem and create partnerships to make the rest of it come true.
So how is space part of this vision?
It's interesting. Most people look at our planet and think of it in isolation, if they even think about a planet, because we usually are just concerned about our city. If we're very good, we think about our country. Rarely we think about things on a global scale. But even at that level, we think about our planet in isolation. And we're part of an ecosystem that's much bigger than our planet. We're part of the solar system, and our solar system is part of the Milky Way, and Milky Way is part of a very large universe. And bringing it down to what's relevant, we need to look at our resources and our accessibility to things in that scale. So to me, our future as human beings on this planet, our sustainability, our long-term sustainability in millions of years to survive as a species depends on us understanding that we're part of this bigger ecosystem and learn how to access it, how to live in it, how to access its resources, all for the betterment of our lives as human beings. Right now, we are just at the very, very starting point of exploring our low Earth orbit and our moon, and understanding all the amazing possibilities that's there. So when X Prize almost 26 years ago launched with a prize to ask small teams of innovators around the globe to build a spaceship, to go to 100 kilometers and come back and do it twice to demonstrate that there is a path to commercial viability. Our intention was not just that the demonstration flight. It was to show that a small team of innovators can beat large scale government agencies and build something that's more efficient and more cost effective, and that it can start a whole new era of innovation in space. Prior to that, when you look at the first 50 years of space, not much advancement was made. Everything was made right at the early on, where there was a race, the Cold War race between Russia and United States, and who was going to get to orbit first, who's going to get to the moon first. And then once the Cold War went away, governments basically do what governments do well, which is risk mitigation and let's just stay safe, and just being caught in the cycle of government policies and bureaucracies and funding and all that. So we didn't go too far. If you look at the same time frame in that 50 years, how fast other technologies developed and rapidly advanced, that did not happen in space. And only after our prize was launched and sort of opened that possibility, and it took us 10 years to work with policymakers and educate them and convince them of changes to allow for the commercial sector to enter into the space industry. That's how we saw this rapid rate of innovation we see today. When we launched the competition, people thought we're crazy. It's like, how could a small company build launch capability? That's not possible. But we demonstrated it's possible. And because of that, we now see a $1 trillion economy that's alive and thriving. We see possibilities of new businesses in space. And this is not just for space. I'm a tech entrepreneur. I build tech companies, and I've seen how technology evolves rapidly. And so when you combine this Moore's law of how technology is becoming more and more affordable and democratized very rapidly, you use that and you reduce the cost of access space. We have now CubeSats, nanosats, the sensing technology has improved. But if we didn't have a way of sending them to space, we wouldn't have the Earth observation capabilities we have today. We wouldn't know so much about our planet and how we can manage our resources better. All these new businesses would not be created. And that's what we enabled with our first competition. It took a very long time. We pick big challenges, so it takes time for these challenges to be solved and to actually the market start responding to it. But we're not a short-term organization. We're here, and hopefully beyond me, generations beyond me will be here to ensure that we continuously carve and create pathways to a future that we want to build intentionally.
So let me pick up on the concept of competition. Competition is a very interesting word because somehow is intrinsically related to human creativity. If you create something and this something is great, automatically creates competition. You're planting a seed in other people's mind, and that's how we grow. However, competition is also driven by profit. How can the commercial sector be profitable but also continue to sustain your vision of a more democratized and better Earth? And can commercial sector merge their own interest with the interest of the population at large?
Absolutely. I disagree, actually. I don't think competition is only profit-driven. All sports teams compete, and it's not necessarily profit-driven. In human beings, our nature is we want to compete and, be first, be the one who achieves something. So it's goal-driven. And I think it's important for us to have goals and drive competitions to take us to those goals. So we have a saying at the X Prize, you get what you incentivize. So we do want to incentivize those positive uses of technology. So instead of letting technology develop by itself and randomly and in closed rooms, in closed laboratories, through our process and with the competition, we shine a light on it. We actually help set a goal and say, don't go build something over here that's only profit driven. Go solve this global problem. So we find the global challenge, the problem. We define what needs to be solved. We break down the problem into very measurable objectives that you need to solve, but we stay away from dictating how to solve it. So this way we maximize innovation, and then people have a goal, a target that it's in benefit of humanity. So they go try to build that. And I think that's what's powerful. And what we found through all these years, we've launched close to $300 million worth of competitions over the years. And we've seen the success of it and the leverage factor over and over again. And what we've seen from the teams is that when they enter the competition, yes, they want to win the competition. They want to win the prize money. But more importantly, most of them, like most entrepreneurs, they're passionate about solving the problem itself. And the prize incentive is just something that got them started. But ultimately, they want to build a business that will be profitable, but also help humanity. So even though this is a competition, we call it a co-opetition because we see teams merge, we see teams help each other, because ultimately they really care about solving that problem that we've put in front of them.
I love the word competition. It merges cooperation and competition.
Yeah, we've seen them brainstorm problems that they have, even though helping another team may mean that they may win the prize, but they do care about solving the problem. And in business, if you're the only company, something's wrong, because that means that that market may be not stable, it's not long-term. But when you have multiple people entering a marketplace, then you really have a market. If one company thing is not a marketplace. So they don't see each other as enemies. They see each other as partner on a journey to a destination.
And you speak us a lot about democratization, the introduction of diversity in the sector. What can we do to make space industry, but I would just say tech industry at large, more open to diversity, trying to fight gender biases, whatever bias they come in our society? It's a society built on biases almost.
Yes, it's a great question and something that I'm very passionate about. And coming from the tech industry, I think the first thing is for us to make sure we have diverse voices at the table when these products and services are being talked about and designed. And for example, just being a woman engineer, electrical engineering, computer science, there are not that many women engineers. So what happens is when a design team gets together and they're designing, they design from their own mindset, and not that they're biased, but if a man is standing there and designing something, they will look at themselves, their body shape, their weight, their height, and they look at the rest of the men around the table. And that's how design a product. So there needs to be a woman or people of other gender or race at the table when these design discussions takes place, to be able to incorporate that into the thinking. And that's why I'm a big proponent of women in STEM and science and also in space, to make sure that the diversity of thoughts, ideas, and conversations takes place. It will take time, but it requires a very focused effort for us to get there and help people understand why it's important. And meanwhile, we need to create ways for the companies, even if they don't have a woman engineer, at the table to bring people from outside to at least advise on some of these designs and concepts. Especially we see this bias with artificial intelligence, which is going to be very harmful to our society long term because it's propagating and exasperating the biases that we've seen, because now it's in a machine and the machine can replicate it and expand it. And until we close the gender data gap and make sure the data sets that these machine learning programs use, algorithms, has the diversity of data and information, then the solutions won't be diverse. They will all be biased.
Final question, what's your next challenge? You came so far, what you going to work on tomorrow? The problem that you see immediate?
At XPRIZE, we are working in 7 domains. There's always a big challenge facing us in each one of the domains. The 7 domains are climate and energy, biodiversity and conservation, health, food, waste, water, learning and society, and space and exploration, of course, deep tech, AI, quantum computing. So each group, each of our domains, looking at what's the biggest challenge in each domain. But I would say that as a society, I think we would all agree that our climate change and the sustainable energy is one of the top hot topics that's urgent, that requires attention. And that's why we launched the $100 million carbon extraction competition, which is to scale carbon extraction from the atmosphere or the oceans at the gigaton level, because that's what we need. By 2050, we need to take gigatons out of our planetary ecosystem to make sure that we don't go over the 2.5 degree warming goal that we're not even a goal. It's like the red zone. We're in the orange zone, approaching the red zone.
Anousheh, thanks a lot for your insights, and I would love to have the chance to visit XPRIZE in Los Angeles at some point.
Please come visit us, and we'll have our domain leads tell you all about their passion and what is the most pressing issues in their domains.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And if you want to keep the pulse of the space industry, please visit our website at www.SpaceWatch.Global and subscribe to our newsletters. And of course, don't forget to become a Space Watcher. I'm Emma Gatti, Senior Editor at SpaceWatch.Global, your independent perspective on space. See you next time. Ciao.